Mount Rushmore of wrestling announcers. This should be a good one. Number 1 on my list, obviously, you got to go with the best ever, the best there was, the best there is, the best there ever will be. Jim Ross. And I'm just so excited that Jim Ross will be behind the mic January 4th for the New Japan Pro Wrestling Global Force Wrestling pay-per-view, Wrestle Kingdom 9. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm buying the pay-per-view because Jim Ross is announcing it. So Jeff Jarrett, if Jeff Jarrett thought, hey, I may get a couple of pay-per-view buys for this thing if we get Jim Ross to announce, I'm one of them. I'm one of them. Because, no offense, I'm not ordering this pay-per-view if Mike Tenay is doing it. I'm sorry, I'm just not. And Mike Tenay is good. But I'm ordering this pay-per-view because Jim Ross is behind the mic. Jim Ross, the best ever. A lot of great calls. The soundtrack of the Attitude Era is Jim Ross. Jim Ross has to be number 1. Number 2, Tony Schiavone. The voice of WCW, again, someone who, when I was growing up, the first couple of years, when I started watching wrestling when I was 5 years old, I was more of a WCW guy. And around 97, I started getting into WWF more because they started to get a little bit more edgier. And I was getting older. Granted, I was 6 or 7 years old. But I was like, hey, that's pretty cool. But Tony Schiavone was incredible. And he was incredible to listen to, very easy to listen to. And I rank Tony Schiavone in terms of broadcast talent and the best ever. I rank Tony Schiavone right behind Jim Ross. That's how highly I think of him. I think Tony Schiavone was incredible to listen to. I think he was a great broadcaster. And Tony Schiavone's on my Mount Rushmore wrestling announcers at number 2. Number 3, Joey Styles. And I know people are going to say, oh my God, Joey Styles. Joey Styles was innovative because he brought that Vince Scully style of announcing to pro wrestling. And people were like, he's not Vince Scully. He didn't sound like Vince Scully. No. The point that I'm trying to make is Vince Scully forever has done games by himself. Joey Styles called a lot, almost every ECW pay-per-view full, solo, by himself. And he called some awesome matches, and he was the only guy behind the mic. And that's innovative. And I have a lot of respect for Joey Styles. That's why Joey Styles is number 3 on my list. Mount Rushmore wrestling announcers. Number 4, it was between Gordon Solie and Gorilla Monsoon. I gotta go with Gorilla Monsoon. I know people say Gordon Solie is the Dean and this and that, and oh my God. I just, and again, I wasn't